Jai Sadguru. We are in Maheshwar, and we have come with a small group of devotees to do a post or a chapter from the new book, which is Preservation of Our Awakened Spirit, Mind and Body with Divine Knowledge, Meditation, Yoga, Pranayam and Prolonged Inner Silence. This is a book that was launched on 18th February this year, and this is about a series which was written on Facebook, and apart from those 13 apart from the series that was written on Facebook, there is also a lot written about how this book was made, and that is in the foreword. So before we start the chapter of Vishwamitra ji, and the title that will be discussed today will be chapter 10, Permanent Control of Flow of Breath through Dhyan, Yoga Abhyas and Maun. This was guided by Vishwamitra Maharishi, who is a very elevated Rishi, and the other chapters of this book also have many Rishis who have guided me to teach the world that with Yoga Sadhana, if we have awakened ourselves, if we have awakened our body, if we have awakened our spirit, if we have awakened our mind, that needs to be preserved, that needs to be maintained. So there are many chapters in this. We'll only do chapter 10 today, and if need be, this will be extended in another session. This chapter, though, has 36 verses. I'll just reassure myself. There are 36 verses. We will do the verses a bit later for the audience who will listen to only the video and have not read the other articles. I would like to first introduce Sage Vishwamitra to the world, and it is a great privilege and an honor and a blessing to be speaking about him. And my oldest association with him has been the most unexpected association, because we all have heard about Sage Vishwamitra as mythology or many other ways in our probably textbooks and stories and katha or movies and so on. Our imagination of Sage Vishwamitra, the most prominent is of his association with Menaka and Apsara. So that is not at all to be taken into consideration. And whoever reads this book and the chapter and listens to my videos, I would request them not to have any reservation and to delete all those bits and pieces of information that we have gathered, because no one has been able to decipher or come to know the truth behind these Purans or Katha or scriptures. So we'll have to start all over again. And this is an extempore lecture, and the flow is going to be as per the demand of the rishis, as I say, who are all the time guiding me. So the first thing that I would like to tell the audience and the present devotees who are sitting with me here is that like any other person, I only knew about Vishwamitra ji what I have described a minute back. That's about all. But as I was doing my sadhana in many years, he was visiting me, he was guiding me, but I never recognized, and obviously I would not have even known his stature. And it was since I'm blogging, many people don't know, but yes, I was blogging for so many years, say 15 years now. So on my 10th blogging anniversary, I had gone to Bangalore Mansa Foundation, and I had gone to submit myself and my work, saying that it's a very tedious job, I can't do it more, and I've said so much and I don't want to talk about myself, and I think I've spoken a lot about the rishis, and I'm unable to carry this work forward because it's too demanding to be continuously writing for so many years. It demands a lot of my pranic energy actually, and I felt I have said so much, so I wanted a closure. So that was the first time I could actually see his astral body, and I had a Virat Sarup of Markandeji and Vishwamitra ji both, and they are both spiritual giants. There is no two way about it. And he blessed me and he said, "Why will you stop writing?" I said, "I can't do this more." And I was actually very tired. I said, "I have come to offer my whole blog and everything, and I want you to close it now. Please close it for me and give me the permission to stop writing." And I believe my real journey started after that. I remember it was 20th May in 2018, and I said, "This is your work, this is yours, take it. I return everything back to you. And I actually don't even know you. I've written so much about you, but the more I know you, the more I feel that I've not even touched the surface. So you are a very not difficult, but a very large entity to even discover, know. And it's already taken me 10 years to even reach at the stage where I've been able to actually see you like this, Virat Sarup, which I have seen of Krishna and others, but this was something so different." So he said, "Why will you give up?" I said, "No, it's tedious, I can't do it." So he said, "I'm blessing you. You will write all your life. You'll write all your life. And don't stop writing." And he said that you will be indefatigable, means you'll never get tired. And I thought maybe I will have to do a lot of yoga and things like that. And there are so many associations and incidents that have happened. If I start narrating too much, probably we will digress. But yes, he did hear my invocation in my 5th incarnation when I said that I want to go to the highest Rishi because I was not taught. I wanted to be a learned person. I couldn't because the society was such at that time. So he reminded me that, look, you have just started your journey. So I said, every time when I feel I've climbed a mountain and I can't and I don't want to climb more, you say you've just begun. So he said, till the last breath of your life you'll write, I'm blessing you. So I said, all right, if you're sending me back home to write more, I'll write. Now, that was 2018, today is 2023. I have realized since I have to open up to the world, and I have to also because apart from this book, this is on preservation, there will be 3 more books on it. They are about regeneration, and that's series 1. So all these books are under Jyoti Mark. So there will be a series of 7 books on Adi Shankaracharya also. And so the question is, or a layperson will ask me, how can anyone write like this? It's impossible. It's unheard of. And what are you writing? That's what people say. What are you writing? Now, to tell the world what am I writing, that will come later. But I want to tell the people from where this book has been sourced. From where? Where did I get this? There are 2 things involved in this book because I have not spoken about my book. On book launch, I only spoke about Markandeji because I became extremely emotional that they thought that I was capable enough to say, speak, write about them. So I spoke more about Markandeji that day. And to know Vishwamitra ji, this is like not even a dot what I've written, and the post here is too condensed. So to read the book, you may take my assistance, but I want the world to know through me that look at the stature and let's follow this path of Jyoti Mark. And when I speak more about what they have given me and how this book has come to know, you will know who they are. Because they don't have a CV. They don't talk about I am this, I am that. Okay, and they are the keepers of this earth. Means the balance of dharma dharma that they maintain in the world. So this was the experience of 20th May 2018, and today is 15th October 2023. I have written so much. There was a time when I said I'm exhausted, I can't write more, and the opposite has happened. I'm writing so much. So what has happened and what did he do? What did he give me? It's much beyond yoga and many other things. One thing that he has given is the real silence, the real meaning of Maun. The real Maun is the deepest peace, the level of peace where I have touched. And what I'm going to speak now is actually in the book of another series, but it is relevant here and it is relevant for all the books that we are going to write or give to the world to help themselves in their sadhana and also to know about the rishis. No yoga sadhana is possible without kindling sushumna. No yoga sadhana is ever possible without kindling sushumna. And there are many variations of kindling or the level of kindling of sushumna. Many levels. So sushumna has played a big role or will play a role in your life also. And the other factor is the Raksha Sutra, which nobody knows. And I would suggest, if someone has bought this book, the other should also be, and they should not try to separate or segregate as two different entities. A lot of common things will be in many books. So whoever follows the series will have an ocean of knowledge, because everything can't be written in one book. So the other thing Vishwamitra ji has done or has been doing to me is, he has taught me astral travel. Not taught me, he initiated me. I was anyway doing it, but I was not aware of it, and the power of my astral travel or the astral voyage was limited. Because to reach him, to reach them, these highest rishis, one has to have a different body, a different vehicle to approach them at their level. And what is that astral travel? Astral travel, a voyage, means that our mind becomes so subtle. Our mind has very special kind of pran and panch tattva of very great importance, and of ati sukshma pran. So a part of our a part of our mind, even when the body is asleep, a part of the man is connected. That is, our mind gets connected to the mental body or the mental sheath or the mental domain of the rishi. And at a very fast or lightning speed, the mind can connect to the rishi, whoever it is, the highest rishis who are in some far off territory. And when the mind connects, there is a transference of knowledge. The knowledge comes in my mind, and I translate it into words. So this is that book, and this chapter is that chapter. And one tiny drop of that vast knowledge of Vishwamitra ji's great spiritual abilities is that, like a few other rishis, what he has practiced the most of all the different yoga abhyas and jo bhi yog sadhana jo ki hai, what is his like you say signature style or signature identity, or how does he stand apart? How do I recognize him? Who's who? Like, how do I differentiate him? And what is his what stands out? Some rishis have become proficient in meditate. I mean, they know all the sciences, but they become proficient in one field. What we yesterday described, that ascribed power. So they are very proficient. Some are in dhyan, some in yoga, some in other things. So Vishwamitra ji stands out from others, and he practices, or he likes mourn the most. Doesn't like to talk much. And his mourn means actually peace, shanti. So words come very few. I just comprehend and that's it. It doesn't give me many words. But then automatically I start understanding, and new doors open and new realms open. And suddenly I'm able to write pages after pages what he says. Right? So there is this Jyotirling, Mahakal, which the world thinks is only a Shivling and things like that. But the oldest tapasya that has happened in that place is of Vishwamitra ji. And since he's reincarnated so many times, and he's the first rishi who got moksha, so that place has become pious. And there is a very beautiful article that I've written when I, after coming from Manasa, after he told me, no, please continue your writing, you will not give up. He had told me that time, I saw him as a huge golden light, and he said, I am Vishwamitra. So he told me a thing which obviously no one told me, and that is of prominence, that is very important. And he had said that whenever you see light of God, and he's given me many darshans like this, so that means I have seen light many times due to him. He had said something which no one told me. I mean, this was a revolution. He said, whenever you see light of God, always remember the sins of that place have been washed, and the land has been purified. It's a very big thing, he said. I'll repeat. That whenever we have darshan or a glimpse of God, or contact with these bodies of light called rishis, whenever, that place is washed of sins. And that place gets sanctified. And it doesn't end there. On that same land, or a piece of land, or a spot, say I had darshan of him, and at that time I didn't know he's initiating me into देवयान बोल सकते हैं आप इसको, एस्ट्रल वॉयज को, कि देवलोक में, सत्यलोक में ले जाते हैं आपको. We can also call it in a different language, but where the mind travels to meet these rishis who have made another part of the universe as their abode, a permanent abode, where they are meditating for thousands of years, लाखों वर्षों से तप कर रहे हैं वो. So he told me that this means that when I had his darshan, the place where I am living has been washed of many sins, and in future this land will have either a meditation center or a temple. And this is the way a Jyotirling has been made. Out of the 12 Jyotirlings, all the rishis have done some tapasya, and then people found this place and they built a temple, and obviously it was more structured. So these things don't happen randomly. There is always God's wish. Ishwar ki ichha hai. Right? So this is a little background of Vishwamitra ji, to know that what I'm going to speak is coming from him. And I have told him many times that I do so many discourses on other rishis, and I have not done on you, and I still feel that maybe I'm not capable of doing it yet, or I'm not ready for it yet, or the world is not ready to receive him yet. Because to understand these people, you need special minds, and you need an entirely different outlook to look at the way humans in the past have evolved themselves. And the other thing I want to tell you about this book and the discourse on this chapter number 10 is that there is a lot of conflict or chaos and turmoil going on in the world, and it will continue being like this for some years, maybe another 3, or the intense conflict that is going on will continue for the next 3 years or something, whatever God wishes. And at the same time, God makes sure, ईश्वर की ये अभिलाषा भी होती है और एक निर्णय भी होता है. ये भगवान ईश्वर, गॉड डिसाइड्स के, भगवान डिसाइड करते हैं वर्ल्ड कैसे चलेगा. सो इफ ह्यूमंस as a collective community decides to take some actions which are very far reaching and which would bring imbalances in the world, God, Parmeshwar, has his own ways to undo a lot of things which are detrimental for the world. Means there is no way this earth can be destroyed. The rishis are doing this task of making sure that the earth continues, and under no circumstances the humans should create situations where the world is about to collapse, because it's the wish of God that the world should continue. So during such times of conflict and absolute uncertainty, and you could say a dark patch, and a continuous an eclipse kind of situation where for a few years the turmoil or the conflict and the fight of good and bad, evil and good, continues for a very long period. What we don't know is that on the other hand, what God does is, and since this is the worst time of human stagnation, not stagnation, human decay of minds, this is the worst time of so much chaos and commotion and turmoil and destruction. God has his own way of preserving his earth and people. So this is the time where he is unleashing so much spiritual knowledge, so that those people who are ready, there are some very nice people on this earth who want to do so much but are unable to do. If we cannot do so much for the people outside, like in the society, if you are unable to do, the biggest obligation or the biggest responsibility that we have upon ourselves is to uplift our souls, uplift our body, our mind. So this is the time when it's going to be much, much easier, rather the easiest ever, because the rishis had to fight a lot of Earth's geographical conditions, climatic conditions, which we are not facing. We are having a lot of control over nature today. So self-realization and elevation of our minds, elevation and escalation, progression of our soul is much easier now. So with this kind of background, please know that this book is a divine gift, and what Swamiji or what Rishiji has said is extremely beautiful and very helpful. Right? So if I want to tell you the summary of this book, the chapter, if I can pass on the mind map that I have in my mind, we may just take an overview of the full chapter, because I was trying to know what is the main thing that he wants to say through these 36 verses. If 36 verses have been said, so after 36 verses, what I asked him yesterday also, today morning, that I will make them do 36 verses. If you say word to word, I can pick up each and every word, I can do it. And I asked him, what was your objective of making me write this chapter? Like, if we finish this chapter and if we want to recall this discourse, is there a key line, key word, or what is the theme? Because what happens is when I read a line, I fall into meditation. I'm unable to read these 36 verses because he's given me so much that I start going on some other plane, and it diversifies. Then I connect so many things. So I'm unable to. So I asked him, why did you make us, like, what is the theme? What is it that you want to? Because, like I said, he's there. He's there on top. Okay, we are here somewhere down. So if you think in the way I'm thinking at the moment, that imagine there is a pyramid. Someone is at the top, one single person, and we are at the base. So if I'm looking at you, and if I want to see at the point, you have, please give me one thought or one lesson which will stay with me, and with that I'll recollect the whole chapter. And at your stature, what is such an important thing that you would like to transfer to us today and in the world through us and through this lecture? So he told me that actually his mind is so big. It is such a beautiful mind. I have entered his mind a few times, and it is actually like a very quiet universe. His mind reminds me of a universe. Imagine if we leave this earth and we go to some other universe where there is no sound, there is no mental activity. So shunya hai wo, shunya hai. So he said that the reason of making me write this chapter 10 was that yoga abhyas, maun, shanti, and pranayam, these all help us to reach a stage where the mind becomes very quiet. And when the mind becomes extremely quiet, without any thoughts, any ripples, like we say, there is a line which we can read later, where the mind becomes so quiet that it can connect to the universal presence or universal Lord. And when the mind becomes so quiet, he said, of course it's not written here, but he went further. इसके पीछे भी, आगे भी आप जाएंगे. Right? So he said that योग का उद्देश्य, ईश्वर से योग लगाने का उद्देश्य क्या है कि मन अति गहरा होके एकदम शांत हो जाए. मन शांत हो जाए, और जब मन शांत हो जाएगा तो आप शून्य में आ जाएंगे. राइट? शून्य में आएंगे. तो उस समय आपको, जब मन शांत हो जाएगा, when your mind becomes absolutely quiet, you will be able to connect with God and you will know the wish of God. So that is the objective of making me write this chapter 10. And then he's talking about, now we can alright. So when I remember, when I was writing the title, when I was writing this article last year in January, not in January, after that, like when I was completing the series, and when I wrote this title, I told him, I don't think so I can write this, because I've never heard anyone giving me this advice that why don't you make your breath permanently calm. such a beautiful title. Huh? Permanent control of flow of breath. Through Dhyan, Yoga Abhyas and Maun, or with Dhyan, Yoga Abhyas and Maun. So if you divide the title the way I saw into two parts, even this much permanent control of flow of breath is a very empowering thought. So therefore he is saying that there are, we have nadis, or the channels through which the life force travels, right? It needs a medium. So for us, if we see the inner side of the body, we might feel that these are thread-like things. They look like threads, white thread. But inside them, they are like cables. Inside them, the current or the प्राण, which is in the श्वास, जो हमारी श्वास है उसके अंदर प्राण है. The air that we breathe also has a life force, right? So all this is a very perfectly laid cable or network of flow of life force. It is still a mystery. I don't know how many nadis we have. Probably they know, the rishis know. But what he has revealed to us is that when a body is in disorder, when the mind is in disorder, there can be 13 types of imbalances. Not 14, 13. So out of 13, some people may have 2 imbalances, some may have 5, some may have 13, God knows. So the mind, though invisible, has to be taken into consideration, because we are very gross, we are very इसको हम बोलते हैं स्थूल बुद्धि है. So we only look at the exterior of our body, but our body is actually an extension of our mind. So he has suggested that we do some changes in our lifestyle. And what we already know, I will not repeat. So have a good lifestyle, etc., etc. Food has to be proper. What they are saying is that food is going to impact our mind. And food also impacts the flow of our breath. Right? So there are 13 states of imbalances that our nadis are susceptible to falling into due to our erratic behavior, irregular food and sleep patterns. Now this means that our lifestyle has to be very regulated and disciplined. Right? Otherwise we will have some kind of disturbance. So the suggestion is a regulated and rhythmic flow of breath is vital for our mental health, a disease-free life, peace of mind, harmony, resistance to disease and death, and even sustained energy levels through all our life. I have followed this a lot. I try my best that I have a sustained release of energy throughout the day. And after a few years of a good disciplined life, now I'm successful. It's like a pocket of or a purse of money, which the money has to be used throughout the day, and we cannot spend all of it in one say in one instance we cannot. And if imagine you have money for today, money for tomorrow, money for Thursday, money for Friday. And now think that the pran, the reserve in our body, the reserve of pran in our body, it needs to be earned on a daily basis. And we will need this pran in reserve in our brain and heart. And we will be generating it on a daily basis, and we will be spending or expending it on a daily basis. And the reserve will come handy when we are sick, or when there is an emergency, or when there is, say, grief, misery, these negative things happen. I mean, both things will happen. No? There will be happiness, there will be sadness, all this. So when we undergo such things, we don't realize that, like tensions, worries, or despair, grief, all these things, they consume a lot of our pran. And we don't realize that we are actually taking out pran from our, like we say, FDs or savings. Because the release of energy for functioning of a very complicated organ like a brain, and release of energy for the man also, and release of energy for 5 indriyas also. Apart from these 9 or 12 or 13, whatever, some books say there are 9 systems we have, like the digestive, circulatory, and whatever. You can make them 10 or whatever, but all these systems that we have in our body, we need for that. And we need energy or pran for our smriti, a memory. And it is a reserve. Smriti is also reserve. We can reserve a pran in the section of the brain where we have memory, yadasht. Then we need pran even for buddhi, because intellect is another faculty. And always remember that things that we take for granted, like we can see, we take it for granted, na? But it requires, it expends a lot of our pranic energy in only seeing. So we don't realize that the energy or the life force we are using, यानी जो प्राण शक्ति है, वो किस तरह, it's like sitting in a cab and वो मीटर चल रहा है and we don't know. So ये सब बोलने के बाद उन्होंने मुझे समझाया कि अब आपको समझ आया है कि जो आप इतनी मेहनत से, with so much effort, we generate pran on a daily basis, and we are using that pran indiscriminately. So therefore Maun becomes very important. Talking takes a lot of our time and energy. So that's why they prefer to use Maun as a very good tool to regenerate ourselves, again harness energy. And he's also saying that actually only yogis know how to use these assets, we could say. We have so many like how to regulate the breath, because with our changing minds, the mind keeps changing, because all the time we are using our eyes and ears to see, think. The mind thinks, like intellect पे बुद्धि judge कर रही है. All the time our intellect is judging, taking decisions, deciding. So all these things are consuming our pranic energy. And as our thoughts are changing, we are not noticing, but the rhythm of the breath changes. So we cannot avoid this. There will be some ebbs and flows throughout the day, but once we realize that it has taken a lot of effort, there is one nice post I've written, that is also by Vishwamitra ji, where he's made me write a big segment on how much effort, or how much like he's given me in fractions and things, kitna percent, like percentage wise. So that shows that all the food that we eat, and the effort that we make to digest that food, and that food is converted as pran, and out of that maximum contribution of the pran is gone to the nervous system, and whatever shakti, or जो प्राण की शक्ति जो मस्तिष्क में गई है, that goes in the maximum effort is taken by the body to maintain the nervous system. And I think there is some fractions, 1/19th or something out of that pran that is generated, and the shakti that is created, that goes into formation of our memory. So maybe we'll take that up. I cannot give you accurate figures for that, but you just get a hang of it. So importance of our thoughts is very important. Importance of our usage of pranic shakti. And if you do that, then there will be very little imbalance, and the imbalance can be restored by doing yogasana. And he's very clearly said that yogasanas have some secreted codes in them. How? What codes are they? There is some shakti, there is some undisclosed shakti in every asana. So when we are bending and moving our body in a particular manner, the nadis also bend. And when the nadis are bending, so the flow of the dhara, or the flow of the breath, breath की भी and श्वास की और प्राण की जो धारा है वो रेगुलेट हो जाती है. Right? So we should not look at yogasanas as only exercise, a form of exercise. We are not only bending our bones and muscles, we are also giving we are giving pressure to the nadis. So some irregularities that are created because of the imbalances that we have generated, they are corrected by yoga sadhana, yoga abhyas. Right? And if those corrections are made, our breath again becomes regulated. And since our breath was irregular, the flow of breath in our nadis had become unrhythmic, and that would cause a disease, a physical disease or a mental disease. So the shortest cut is, like shortest route is, always tell yourself, I will restore my breath first. I will withdraw from the current situation and I will make myself calm first. Restore your calmness first. So this is a very good hold on the situation. And in some part, say verse 5 and 6, is in a brief manner telling us that his favorite, his forte is about Vichar Shakti. He is a champion on this subject because being a very quiet person, obviously you have more power to know the secrets of our thoughts, the birth, generation of a thought. Imagine if you have knowledge about the formation of your thought, or the birth, germination of your thought, and what all it does to us, and how it vibrates. They see like ripples formed in a lake, and he's shown me many times. And recently I was shown that how the flow of pran in one nadi was stopped and broken, and also when unholy people have come into my life for a short brief period, obviously we have to meet all kinds of people, how even Sushumna was broken temporarily. It's like a broken tendon, broken cartilage, which can be reformed. So this is a very beautiful science, and it addresses a lot of our errors which we must correct, that come what may. They say that ignore most of the things by saying, oh, it can be handled, or this is not a problem that should take away my peace of mind, and resolve the issue later. But your foremost dharma is के मन की शांति भंग ना हो. वो asset है. Like in the morning I was talking to you all and I was saying that why don't people realize that spiritual wealth is a very big wealth. In fact, it is the most prestigious and most exclusive and most highly valued wealth. Since it's not to be seen, or it doesn't give you physical manifestation all the time. Other things are giving you physical manifestation all the time. While, say, a very enlightened person like Vishwamitra ji jaise rishi hai. So, I feel this is something he has taken with him in every life. Spiritual wealth is carried from one life to wisdom is carried from one life to another, and it gives life to other people also. While the other wealth, the so-called worldly wealth, is only for yourself and no one shares it. So he's saying that we will end with this because we've had a very good session and we will not have an overdose of it. I told you this is his forte. ये इनका यानी हम हिंदी में इसको प्रकांड पंडित बोलते हैं. प्रकांड पंडित यानी बहुत विशेषता है इनकी. ये एपिटम है किसी चीज के, बहुत विशेषता है इनकी. तो विचार शक्ति इनकी बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है. इन्होंने तपस्या इस पे बहुत जन्मों में की है. उसका एक nugget, एक gem ये दे रहे हैं, one little nugget, and that is that even before a thought is born, a vichar, thought is invisible, but it plays a very huge role, because once this power is generated and it is manifested, it will create a huge impact for ourselves, others, society, the world. It may take many years. Right? So he's saying that a thought, even before it is actually born, it starts vibrating. Spandan. It's like a pulse, sensation, a vibration. Means it is not yet manifested. Imagine it's not manifested, but before its birth, it gives a vibration in your mind. Obviously, we have not given it a thought, or we've not even become conscious of it, but the more you meditate, the more you become quiet, you'll start understanding that it's like an urge. The vibration then becomes an urge. You feel like, should I do it? Is it so? You start thinking about it. So the thought had started vibrating, right? And then it starts taking a birth, and after that it manifests, and even after it manifests, it still vibrates. It's like a burnt energy, discharged energy, which is still vibrating. The closest example I can instantly think of is like you burn a charcoal. So there is no flame, we cannot use it to cook food, but the coal is still there. There is ash, there is fire. So it takes a lot of time for the coal to cool down. So these are very जिसको हम बोलते हैं ये दिव्य शक्तियाँ actually. These are divine forces. Our thoughts are divine forces. Of course, we have not understood. Humans have not understood. So they are carelessly or casually using it, or not even bothered. But for the rishis, what they have done is they have seen the sacredness of it, and they have taken it as a blessing to discover the power of the thought, and they have utilized it to use it for a very divine purpose, and their thoughts have made them so spiritually charged. Right? With that nice note, I will I think I'll leave by saying a few good lines from this book. The mind generates, this is verse 7, the mind generates vibrations all the time. The mind generates vibrations all the time. That means the mind is actually energy. It's vibrating all the time. The mind generates vibrations all the time. We must be careful in what we think. If the breath is controlled and silenced for a while, we do not create any vibration in the universe. The samadhi state is of healing. In that state, the soul comes in direct touch with the universal consciousness. The breath ceases and the silence or maun is complete. The breath after this state becomes very stable and durable for many days and months. This is verse 8. So, in this verse, there is also a message that please meditate. Meditation is good for mental health, physical health, of course, for spiritual upliftment also. And if we meditate, our breath automatically becomes very rhythmic. The breath becomes rhythmic, and the flow of the breath becomes you could say that it is very well timed, means the inhalation and exhalation are of the same length. Now, what is meant by control of breath or permanent control of breath? What goes wrong in the imbalance is we become unconscious of our breath. So, inhalation is longer, exhalation is short, or vice versa, or they're too shallow, too fast. So, therefore, equal breathing or anubandhit Shwas Kriya is very good. Equal breathing. That's a type of kriya, breathing technique where we focus on the breath and we make the breath equal. So the mind is restored, the body is restored, and we are definitely preserving our body, mind and soul. Right? So for today, this much is good enough. And if someone wants to ask a question, that's fine. Otherwise, we will close.
You said that the thoughts are vibrations. So is it possible that if we increase those vibrations, we can send those thoughts to other people? By increasing the vibrations of those thoughts or energies.
Vibrations means that actually what happens is every thought also has a consciousness. उसकी चेतना होती है, quality है. It's a very interesting subject, Vichar Shakti. That see, a mind is like a manufacturing unit. Right? We are constantly generating thoughts. This is how we are made. मन क्या है? मन विचारों का एक you could say सागर है. It's an ocean. Like there are waves in an ocean. So a mind is made like that. Right? So we are all the time generating you could say a wave in the mind, because that's how we are made. मन में क्या है? विचार है, प्राण है, पंच तत्व है, ये हमारा मन है. और मन का स्वरूप ही ऐसा है कि ये विचार पैदा करेगा. So this will constantly create thought. Now the question is, what quality of thought we are creating? What I have just now spoken, the last few lines about Samadhi state. Samadhi state means a complete silence of mind for some time. But this is very momentary. It's only after a lot of yogic practice that one can prolong. But it doesn't matter. It's not the stretching of time in that quiet state. It is also the quality of that maun. कितनी थोड़े से देर में हमने कितना अच्छा अपने आप को जैसे रिवाइव कर लिया है. राइट? सो एवरी थॉट आई एम इलैबोरेटिंग कि वी आर मेड अप ऑफ अ बंडल ऑफ थॉट्स, और अ बुके बोल सकते हैं, और अ गार्बेज ऑफ थॉट्स. So first is a selection of thoughts. So the best way to train a mind. Without training, the mind cannot. What I'm saying, what I'm speaking is only training of mind. I'm speaking this because I'm trained. I've spent hours, days, years, lives doing the same thing. So that means, say, if you take 25 years, that is 1/4 or maybe 1/3 of your life, just getting a degree and a job or to start a profession. 25 years minimum. That means we're developing something as an objective to gain something, correct? So our mind is also a very big Shakti, बहुत बड़ी एक शक्ति है जो पूरे विश्व में बहुत बड़े कार्य कर सकते. And that is why we have some solitary cases of extremely developed minds, and they have contributed too much for the world. Well, majority, now it's a little general talk, but you pick up your points, what I said, consciousness, or I'll ask you to repeat your question again and then I'll address, because I like it when someone talks of this subject. So, what is happening in the world? That say, I don't know, we are trillions of people, God knows how many people we are in this world now. But if you really ask me, how many of them are actually contributing positively for the earth? Others are basically a burden. If you see, without being biased, what I meant was, if we are unconscious all the time in mind and body and soul, what will happen? This group of, or this collection of people, what are they doing? They are breathing air taken for granted. That is a resource, natural resource hai. They are eating food, this, that, everything is taken from earth. But what are they giving back in? Nothing. So, to continue living on this earth, how many people are giving their contribution? They can give whatever they want. I'm not saying everyone has to be a spiritual guru or a spiritual scientist or a stalwart. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. But at least we can do for ourselves. We can develop ourselves. So what I'm saying is that this is a very good science one has to develop, and all that is right or all that is wrong in the world is due to someone's mind only, because it first manifests in the mind. There is something that takes birth in the mind and then we translate it as an action, right? So you were talking about that, can we connect, or can we have vibrations, strong vibrations of thoughts to send it to people? Yes, definitely. And our consciousness, यानी the more alive we are, जितनी हमारी ज़्यादा चेतना है, जितनी हमारी जागृति है, the more conscious we are in our mind, body and spirit, we'll be able to do what you're saying, say sending good vibrations to people for their welfare will help a lot of people. In fact, it can heal people who are physically sick also. So these rishis have very strong, very powerful minds. And they don't need to move physically everywhere in a physical form to do something. The mind travels and everything is done. And they harness this thing called vibration. They are very sensitive. We read a mail or a book or something and we still don't get the point. I mean, imagine if something is written with so much explanation and narration, and I see people, they read a page and they don't get the point. right? Means we are unable to grasp the conclusion or the theme or the objective of that book, page, headline or whatever. While a very developed mind like a Rishi's mind, जो बहुत develop है, they don't need words because they sense our mind, they sense the vibration, they recognize, because our mind is vibrating. When we have very compassionate thoughts, otherwise how will they connect to me? Tell me. I have never seen them. they are not in a physical body. I have not contacted them in a very formalized manner. But if you scrounge or if you probe my mind, मेरे मन को आप टटोलोगे, तो जो शायद कभी मैं बोलूंगी नहीं, ना मैं बोलती हूँ, पर आप शायद बोलना चाहिए इसलिए बोल देती हूँ कि मैंने आई हैव नेवर प्रोक्लेम, मैंने कभी उनसे ये नहीं कहा है कि मतलब कुछ भी नहीं कहा है, पर सब कुछ समझते हैं, मैं ये कह रही हूँ। चाहे वो मन की व्यथा हो, चाहे मन का आभार हो, कृतज्ञता हो, या उनका तप देख के जो एक दुख तो नहीं कह सकती मैं, कोई शब्द नहीं समझ आता, शायद उसके लिए भी शब्द बना नहीं है, क्योंकि जब कोई बहुत कष्ट पाके संसार को कुछ बहुत बड़ी चीज देता है, तो वो आपका मन समझ सकता है, अगर आपने इतना कष्ट सहा है उस चीज के लिए। तो जो आज हमने वो मंदिर में जाके राज राजेश्वरी में जो ध्यान किया है, वहाँ पे अगर 77 साल, 1000 वर्ष पहले या कुछ लाखों वर्ष पहले यहाँ पे कोई पृथ्वी के, भारत के, केवल भारत के, यहाँ पे अखंड भारत है भाई दुनिया माने कि ना माने वो आपका ओपिनियन हो सकता है, इसलिए भारत प्रकाश देगा, विश्व में हमेशा प्रकाश देगा, क्योंकि वो प्रकाश है जिसको हम कोई नष्ट नहीं कर सकता है। आप कुछ और चीजें फिजिकल वर्ल्ड में नष्ट कर सकते हो ना, आप मेरे मन को नहीं मार सकते हो ना, शरीर को मार सकते हो। तो जिन लोगों ने ईश्वर को इतना प्रेम किया है कि सर्वस्व लुटाया अपना, अगर कार्तिक स्वामी जी की किसी ने ब्लॉग पोस्ट पढ़ी है तो उसमें उन्होंने कितना अपना, जैसे बोलते ना, इसको मैं बता नहीं सकती हूँ, जब ये अनुभव हुआ उन्होंने बताया कि उन्होंने किस प्रकार की तपस्या की है और फिर शरीर से वापस आना नहीं चाहते, तो वो संसार उनको नहीं समझ पाएगा। तो ये जो कभी मैं कह नहीं पाई हूँ, ना मैं कह पाऊंगी, क्योंकि जिसको कहते हैं ना, कुछ चीजें बस होती हैं, आप उसको बता नहीं सकते हो। पर हाँ, ये जरूर होता है कि मैं शायद भगवान की फीलिंग समझ सकती हूँ कि भगवान को जो कहते हैं ना, मेरे विशेष पुत्र हैं, यानी जो खास उनके बच्चे हैं, जिन्होंने बहुत कष्ट सहा और ईश्वर के प्रेम के लिए सहा है, इतना उन्होंने अपने मन को पवित्र किया कि उनका प्रेम ईश्वर से इतना था कि कोई भी कष्ट सहने को तैयार थे। और किया तो क्या किया, चाहे वो कश्यप महर्षि थे जिन्होंने यहाँ किया, ओम की वाइब्रेशन पे इतनी खोज की है, शोधन किया है, पर इंसान मूर्ख है ना, किसी चीज को तो इतना तूल देता है, और जिस चीज को तूल देना चाहिए। अब ओम का वाइब्रेशन ही हमें पूरा का पूरा सुख न केवल देके, केवल सुख नहीं देता, वो हमें ईश्वर से जोड़ सकता है, जोड़ता है, सुषुम्ना जगाता है, हमारा रक्षस सूत्र जो टूट गया है उसको वापस जोड़ सकता है ओम। तो ये मुझे समझ आया कि आज का जो लेक्चर था मेरा वो डिले क्यों हो रहा है, क्योंकि हम सबको पहले उधर जाके ध्यान करना था, तो शायद ये बात पकड़ में आई हो, तैयारी थी वो। क्योंकि मार्कंडेय जी ने 97 लाख ईयर्स पहले केदारनाथ जैसे ठंडी जगह में, जो कि अब शायद आधी बर्फ भी नहीं होगी, सिर्फ 6.5 साल वो जी पाए, फिर मृत्यु हो गई। इतनी बर्फ में जहां कोई इंसान जी नहीं सकता, तो ओम का स्पंदन जो होता है, यानी अगर हम ओम को बार बार मन से भी, मुंह से नहीं, होठों से ना भी बोले, हम मन में अगर उसका हम जाप करते हैं या उसको सिर्फ स्मरण करते हैं, बाद में स्मरण पे आ जाती है बात, केवल याद करो उसको, याद करो, बिकॉज हर बार तो हम बैठ के ओम ओम नहीं कर सकते ना। तो अगर हम सिर्फ ईश्वर को ओम के स्वरूप में याद करते हैं, तो वो हमारे स्मरण से विश्व में कितना उद्धार होता है। तो जब ईश्वर ने ये पहला स्वर ही, पहला शब्द ही ओम बनाया है, तो उसमें ईश्वर ही तो है। जो वृक्ष है और उसका फल है, अलग चीज नहीं है ना, एक एक्सटेंशन है ना। तो मार्कंडेय जी ने इस चीज पर रिसर्च किया है, तो ये पृथ्वी अभी भी टिकी है, वरना बहुत लोग हैं जो इसको अभी 2 दिन में नष्ट कर सकते हैं। तो ये जो विज्ञान है, जो मुझे अति प्रिय इसलिए लगता है कि शायद मेरी भी इच्छा ये है कि मैं गुमनाम रहूं, पर भगवान रहने नहीं दे रहा है, बोलने को बार बार कहते कि बताओ बताओ। मेरा धर्म युद्ध भी होता है कि मैं क्यों बताऊं सबको, मतलब ये नहीं कि मुझे शेयर नहीं करना है, पर ये इतनी दिव्य चीज है जो शुद्ध आत्मा है, बस वही जाने, हमको क्यों बताना है सबको, क्योंकि लोग आपको वैल्यू नहीं करते। तो कश्यप महर्षि ने यही काम किया, चाहे वो बाद में कश्मीर में जाके बसे कभी, या फिर ऋषिकेश के पहाड़ों में गए, या फिर इधर महेश्वर में आए, फिर ओमकारेश्वर में गए, ऐसे कितने जन्म उन्होंने मुझे अपने बताए हैं। और वो पृथ्वी से आज 3 लाख किलोमीटर दूर रहते हैं, और वो बहुत कम पृथ्वी पे कभी आना चाहते हैं। और वो मेरे लिए 2 बार आए, जब मुझे लगा ये बहुत बड़ा काम दे दिया है, मेरे से कैसे होगा, तो आप लोग के लिए वो नीचे भी आए कि नहीं, ये पृथ्वी में ये बात होनी चाहिए, ये बात, यानी इट इज टाइम टू डिस्क्लोज दिस। सो जिन महान पुण्य आत्माओं ने, जिनको किसी ने पहचाना भी नहीं, और वो चुपचाप आके अपना काम करके चले गए, तो ओम की वाइब्रेशन पे रिसर्च करना बहुत बड़ा काम है। तो ये मन जब शांत होता है, और जब ईश्वर कृपा होती है, और जब भगवान बताते हैं कि लो मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ, तब ये चीजें मतलब खुल के आती हैं सामने, और विकसित भी होती है। तो मेरा भी एक मकसद इतनी दूर आपको एक एकदम निर्जन स्थान पे लाने का यही था कि शायद हम में से बहुत कोशिश करें, इच्छा भगवान से करें, मांगें यही कि भगवान थोड़ा सा वो चीज़ हमें भी अनुभव हो जाए। एक तरंग भी अगर हमने महसूस कर ली, और वो मेरे एक, जिसको बोलते हैं, मेरे सेल में परमानेंटली चली गई है, तो बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है, बहुत बड़ी। क्योंकि अभी ओम का मेरे को कितनी बार मिरेकल दिखता है कि म्यूटेशन ऑफ सेल्स कैसे हो रहे हैं, कैसे एक सेल को कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड पूरा ब्राउन करके उसके फंक्शंस को जैसे खा जाती है, एंड इसी से ही तरह तरह की बीमारी आती। तो इतनी श्रद्धा से अगर हम अपने साधना को ईश्वर की तरह देखें, यानी जो हम रोज की साधना कर रहे हैं या रोज नहीं कर पा रहे, 5 बार करते हैं सप्ताह में, वो हम अगर कर रहे हैं तो जब भी चाहे 10 मिनट करें, 5 मिनट करें, 20 मिनट करें, आधा घंटा करें, जिसकी जितनी परमिट करती है लाइफस्टाइल, पर जब वो करें तो कैसे करें कि मैं एक्चुअल में, जैसे हम कहते हैं भगवान की आरती उतार रहे हैं, हमारे लिए भगवान भगवान है, चाहे वो शिव के रूप में, चाहे कृष्ण। बहुत लोगों को किसी और स्वरूप में अच्छा लगता है, पर जब हम वो आकार को पूज रहे होते हैं तो हम वी आर क्लोजेस्ट टू गॉड एट दैट टाइम ना, कि मेरे सबसे नजदीक का मोमेंट है। तो अब साधना को हमको ऐसा समझना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये भगवान का सूक्ष्म रूप है, हम भगवान को और क्लोजली देख सकते हैं। सो ये जो ओम है, ओम की वाइब्रेशन है, वो हमारे जो बताया, ये जो वाइब्रेट कर रहे हैं सेल्स, इन हार्मोनियसली कर रहे हैं। अगर विचार खराब है लोगों के या बहुत रेस्टलेस हैं, तो वो जो वाइब्रेशंस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं हमारे सेल्स में, वो बहुत नुकसानदायक है। तो वो हम अपना ही अपकार, यानी उपकार का ऑपोजिट, जब हम अपना ही खराब करते हैं तो वो करते हैं। और जब हम योग करते हैं, प्राणायाम करते हैं, मौन में बैठते हैं, ईश्वर को याद करते हैं, तो ये चीजें रिवर्स हो जाती हैं, यानी करेक्शंस भी हो जाते हैं। इसलिए विचार शक्ति जिसमें हमने अभी शुरू की थी, तो विचार बाद में ये बंद हो जाएंगे। वी हैव टू शट डाउन, अपने आप हो जाते। इट्स अ वेरी स्पॉन्टेनियस स्टेट ऑफ माइंड कि प्योरिफिकेशन होने के बाद सडनली वन फाइन डे विदाउट योर नोइंग इट विल हैपन। डोंट अटेम्प्ट। एकदम फॉर अ फ्यू शॉर्ट टाइम के लिए आपका वो हो जाता है, जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना, मतलब समाधि स्टेट आ जाती है वो। वो हमको पता होना चाहिए कि कितना अच्छा मोमेंट है। उस समय प्रार्थना करनी चाहिए, पर अपने कल्याण की, सबके कल्याण की, राइट। तो सबका भला हो, हम जरूर सोचे सबका अच्छा हो, क्यों कोई दुख पाए, अपना कल्याण करे। हमें मार्ग मिला है तो सबको भी मिले, ऐसी प्रार्थना कर सकते हैं, है ना। तो हम अभी क्लोज करेंगे। कुछ कहना था? हाँ, सो एवरीवन, हाँ, satisfied? तो विल क्लोज विद दैट।
छोटा सा डाउट है मेरे मन में, एंड इट कुड बी बिकॉज ऑफ मेरी मूर्खता या ज्ञानता की वजह से, क्योंकि कभी कभी कुछ और पढ़ लेते हैं। तो ओम का जो हम उच्चारण करते हैं, कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि आ ओ म करना चाहिए बिकॉज संधि ऑफ दीज 3 लेटर्स, और कुछ कहते हैं सिर्फ ओम भी करना है। तो व्हाट इज द like best way to do when we are doing with inhalation and exhalation?
जो आपने पहला बोला ओम, और लास्ट में अगर हम म पे थोड़ा समय देते हैं तो वो बेहतर रहेगा, क्योंकि इसको हमको 3 पार्ट्स में ब्रेक करना होगा। तो वो करो, और उसमें कोई मूर्खता की बात नहीं, किसी को पता थोड़ी होता है। पता होता तो फिर प्रश्न कहाँ से आते हैं। और इफेक्ट नहीं देखा होगा तभी पूछ रहे हो ना कि इस
इफेक्ट देखा, लेकिन फिर हम अक्सर ओम बोलते हैं, तो फिर मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया कि खाली ओम बोलना चाहिए या हमेशा ओम करना चाहिए, इसलिए पूछ रही हूँ।
इसका मकसद यही है। See, what is, why do we chant Om? One big benefit or one big objective is that when we are chanting Om, obviously your focus, your attention should be in between your eyebrows, right? And when we are chanting Om, we are pulling up Pran in Sushumna, and we are gathering that Pran in our nervous system. So it is only when you have Pran in your nervous system that you can have God connection. In the lower areas, when you have pran, they are meant for different functions. So our cranium or the brain, यानी पूरा जो nervous system है हमारा, it is only because the nadis which will connect your mind to the universal mind or Hiranyagarbha or Ishwar, whatever you want to call, is only through your nervous system. So that's a different area altogether, which needs different type of handling, different type of food, different type of everything. Like that's a different segment altogether. All the divine work has to be with your upper. That is why we put tilak in our matha. माथे पे तिलक क्यों लगाते, पैरों को अशुद्ध क्यों मानते थे, शुद्र क्यों बोलते थे, ये सब क्या है? These are the regions which are doing some other function, but the highest and the most pious function is of the brain, the nervous system, the sahasrara. And there are different agencies, yani there are special nadis. The other nadis are for other function, yani to realize God or what you've heard just now. You did not even realize it. But some other channels or nadis were responsible for it. Because obviously there is delegation of different work to different, and there are different body parts and organs. So that is why the body becomes extremely important to maintain, to preserve, to look after it. It's a machine. Every day keep it going. Right? So Yoga sadhana will take care. Like it's basically developing ourselves on a daily basis. Right?